Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatha Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Lita Sri Visakha Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Pesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanasate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Se Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimad Gaur Govind Swami Namine. So today we are very fortunate to observe the appearance day of Srimad Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, who was a great devotee and follower of Srila Prabhupada. Actually, Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj's life is full of dedication for the service of Guru and Krishna. When Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was a school teacher and he left his job just to pursue spiritual life, so he wanted to become a sadhu. So he left his family, left his home, left his service, and just traveled different places in India to search for spiritual life and specifically to search for a guru. So Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, he went to Rishikesh and also stayed in one ashram there. But we all know Rishikesh is famous for the Mayavadi schools. So he was not very satisfied there. Then at last he came to Vrindavan. From his very childhood, he was staying in his maternal uncle's house at Gadagiri, and he was singing all the bhajans of the Vaishnava Acharyas, because his maternal uncle was a very famous singer in Vaishnava bhajans. So from the very childhood, he was acquainted with Vaishnava bhajans, and he himself was singing in front of Gopalji, and he was very much attached to Gopalji at Gadagiri. So at last, he left home, and then after Rishikesh, he went on the place for the pastime of Lord Sri Krishna. And when he came here, and he was searching different ashrams, and he came across our ISKCON temple here, Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir. And that time Srila Prabhupada was present here, and he wanted to see Srila Prabhupada. But that time there was so much restriction because the disciples are not allowing everyone to see Srila Prabhupada. But somehow or other, Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, when he approached, then the news went to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada heard that some sadhu has come, because he was that time wearing saffron cloth and also wearing a sannyasi dress, because he was staying in Rishikesh, and in Rishikesh generally the sadhus were like sannyasis. So when Srila Prabhupada allowed him to come inside, and Prabhupada saw him that he was in sannyasi dress, so Srila Prabhupada immediately asked him, "Have you taken sannyas?" So then Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj said, "No, I have not taken sannyas." Then Prabhupada could recognize him, that he was a genuine devotee of Lord Krishna, just in the first sight, like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur recognized Prabhupada in his first darshan and ordered him to go to the West and preach this Krishna Bhakti in English language, the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the same way, Srila Prabhupada recognized Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, though he had not asked him who was he, where has he come from. He did not know any background of him. But still, Srila Prabhupada recognized him and immediately told him that I will give you sannyas. Generally, according to ISKCON's rule, it does not happen that a newcomer comes and the spiritual master tells him that I will give you sannyas before even first initiation. But Srila Prabhupada recognized him, that he was actually a sannyas in heart, not only in dress, but he was a sannyas in heart. So Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was very much impressed by seeing Srila Prabhupada, and he surrendered to him, because he had seen many sadhus in Rishikesh and other places. But as soon as he saw Srila Prabhupada, he understood that he was his eternal spiritual master. So that in Vrindavan, and in due course, I think in a short time, he got first and second initiation. And that was in Mayapur, when the Mayapur festival was going on. Srila Prabhupada got an offer of a land at Bhubaneswar, and he immediately called Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj and asked him to go to Bhubaneswar and open a center there. So Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, he was very simple at heart, and he asked Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada, I have no money, how can I open center there? So then Srila Prabhupada told him that I had also no money when I went to America. So just depend on Krishna and go to open the center. Krishna will take care of you. And he had strong faith in the words of the spiritual master. So he went to Bhubaneswar, and there no place to stay, because that place which was donated to ISKCON, that was a place in the middle of a jungle, that was outskirts of Bhubaneswar, because the city had not expanded by that time. And Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj stayed in a dharmasala, and he used to even beg for his livelihood in the beginning, because he was a sadhu. He did not mind for that. Because the sadhus, they go to door, beg some alms, and he did that and stayed in that dharmasala. Then after some time, the villagers, they build a cottage in that place, in that land where the land was donated. And then he shifted to that place. And he stayed there in a very simple facility. There is no facility at all actually. There was one well, old well, and no electricity, and he was staying in that way in the midst of jungle. So he did actually the austerity of the sadhus. The sadhus generally, they and depended on Guru and Krishna. And in due course of time, he was also, though he stayed there, he was very studious, because he was a teacher and he had this teaching background. So he was very studious, and he was studying all the scriptures throughout the day and even at night. And in that way, he developed the aptitude to study and speak about Krishna. So then some people, they used to come to see him, and Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj would speak to them, give like class to them about Krishna. And in that way, when he started speaking about Krishna, then some people, they started coming to him. And gradually, people started coming there, and then some devotees also, very few devotees, they joined there. And I remember there was no money actually. And devotees, they used to go on Sundays, do Nagar Sankirtan and bake some rice. In that way, they bring to the temple, and that was cooked, and devotees used to take prasad. And I remember when I went there in 87, first time. That time also, the temple, though the structure was there, but there was no money in the temple, and there was only rice and dalma was prepared. And dalma means dal and no vegetables. Actually, vegetables should be there, but there was only potato. So, and that was also too much liquid. That will that will just go like stream. So we are eating that. that time. So anyway, that was very humble beginning of ISKCON Bhubaneswar temple when Maharaj was present. And because Maharaj had strong faith, and he was chanting his rounds and sending devotees for Harinam and collecting whatever alms, and in that way he was actually managing the temple, and he was very much fond of speaking Krishna Katha. Actually, Krishna Katha was his life and soul. That's why we say when there will be no opportunity for speaking, that time Maharaj was very upset because he could not speak Krishna Katha. Like when he was sick and completely bedridden condition, that time also he was feeling very much morose, because not of sickness, because he was not able to speak Krishna Katha. And I have seen when Maharaj was able to speak Krishna Katha, but he was still sick, he would even the pus would be oozing out from his wounds in his body. He would be wiping out and speaking Krishna Katha. So in that condition he was speaking. But when he was very sick and he tried all these different kinds of medicine, allopathic, homeopathic and Ayurvedic, but nothing worked. So that time, because I was in Calcutta that time, and I had come to Bhubaneswar in 87. Then I went back to Calcutta. But when Maharaj was very sick, that time I had come from Calcutta, and I went to see Maharaj in his room. And Maharaj was, when he saw me, he was crying. So I asked Maharaj that, Maharaj, if you like, we can take you to Calcutta for your treatment. We can take you by flight to Calcutta and do your treatment. Then Maharaj told me that I cannot leave this place. That means he was determined to leave his body in his Prabhu Datta Desha, because his Guru Maharaj had given that place to him. So he was supposed to build the temple, and the temple was not built fully, only structure was there by that time. So he did not want to leave that place. He wanted to die in that place, but he would not leave. That was his determination. And he was crying because he could not fulfill Prabhupada's desire. So anyway, by Krishna's mercy, Srimad Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj ordered his disciples, when no medicine worked, he ordered his disciples to start Harinam Sankirtan. 24 hours Harinam Sankirtan. Because we all know that Harinam Sankirtan is so powerful that it can cure any type of disease. And when he ordered this Harinam Sankirtan, 24 hours Harinam Sankirtan, and devotees started that, then after few days of starting this Harinam Sankirtan, Srimad Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj again went to the hospital where he had visited before also, and he was not cured. He went to that hospital and he was cured. So this Harinam Sankirtan has the potency to cure any type of disease. So going to the hospital and getting treatment was just the means, but Harinam Sankirtan was the only reason or cause that he got cured from that disease. And then after he was cured from that disease, he actually exhibited the uh, spiritual effulgence in his body. Anyone who would see Maharaj that after that time, Maharaj was very effulgent and he was very powerful, and when he would give class it was so much touching to the heart that many took shelter of him, and Maharaj traveled out of India, went to different countries, met many devotees from different countries, and those devotees actually helped Maharaj collecting funds and building this Bhubaneswar temple. So Maharaj only spoke Krishna Katha and Lakshmi came. Devotees came, Lakshmi came, everything came. So that was his potency. That because of his purity, simplicity, and his strong faith and the holy name and Guru and Krishna, Maharaj became very, very successful in his spiritual life, and also he fulfilled the desire of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wanted a beautiful temple, Krishna Balaram temple at Bhubaneswar, and because the Western devotees were not allowed in Jagannath temple at Puri, that's why Srila Prabhupada wanted to build this Krishna Balaram temple with Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, so the Western devotees would come there and perform Krishna Bhakti under the guidance of Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. And Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj always used to speak that I have opened a crying school here. Let devotees come here and learn how to cry for Krishna. So this is the essence of our bhakti. If we learn how to cry for Krishna, then we can achieve perfection in our devotional service. So Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, he was actually, that was his desire, and he was doing that when he was present, and he has left immense literatures for the devotees, so they can read those literatures and they can dive into this Krishna Katha, observe in Krishna Katha and make their life successful. So Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj also wanted that the devotees of ISKCON, that time many devotees, they were getting attracted to outside sadhus, and they are leaving ISKCON and going out. And Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj used to tell that I want to prove to the whole world that everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. There is no need to go out to study other books. Everything is here in Srila Prabhupada's books. And he proved that. by studying Srila Prabhupada's books and speaking on Srila Prabhupada's books, he himself attained perfection and showed to the whole world that Srila Prabhupada's books can take them back to Godhead. So, we can see just now we heard how Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj left his body while speaking Krishna Katha. That was very, very exemplary for any great soul and very much inspiring for all of us. And actually, we all want to, if we become observed in Krishna Katha and dedicate our life for the service of Guru and Krishna. So, Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj exemplified, and he actually proved that everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. So, as far as my relationship with Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj is concerned, I saw Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj for the first time in 86, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's 500th birth anniversary was being celebrated all over the world. I had initially joined in ISKCON Vrindavan in 81, and in 84 I was with some devotees who were transferred to Calcutta and Mayapur. So in 84 I was in Calcutta and stayed there until 89. So in 86 I had come from Calcutta with Srila Bhaktisar Swami Maharaj to Remuna. That time this Padayatra, ISKCON Padayatra, which had started from Dwaraka, celebrate 500 birth anniversary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Padayatra had arrived at Remuna at that time. So from Calcutta, myself and with 2-3 devotees, we all came with Srila Bhaktisar Swami Maharaj in a car, and we did a program on the way, then came to Remuna. So when we came to Remuna, arrived there, that time Padayatra program was going on outside of Remuna, Khirochara Gopinath temple. There was a pandal, and Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was giving pravachan that time. So for the first time I saw Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj there, and I did not know him. I asked someone who was that sannyasi. So then someone told me that he was Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. And then I had no interaction with Maharaj because he was giving pravachan. Then we attended this Padayatra program. Then I went back to Calcutta. Then in 87, for the first time I came to Bhubaneswar temple with with Bhakti Purushottam Swami. He actually brought me from Calcutta to Bhubaneswar. He was president there that time. And I was interested to do translation work from English to Odia. So Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj actually took me to Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj and introduced me. So then he asked me what was my material qualification, and then he encouraged me. He said, okay, it is very nice to translate Srila Prabhupada's books, because Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was alone that time translating Srila Prabhupada's books, and specifically he was doing Bhagavatam. And then there are many other books, Chaitanya Charitamrita was there, and many other books were there. Some devotees, some of his disciples, and one disciple, and then another outside devotee, they were translating Chaitanya Charitamrita. So then Maharaj encouraged me to translate teachings of Lord Kapil into Odia language. And then I stayed in Bhubaneswar. Maharaj said, you stay here, every day you hear my lecture. And then when you translate a paragraph and you bring to me, so I will check. So then every day I was attending Maharaj's class, and then I was translating a paragraph and then going to Maharaj, and Maharaj would see the English, then I will read the Odia. In that way I did for maybe 1 week or so. So then when Maharaj saw that the translation was all right, then he told me that now you don't have to come to me for checking. You can go on translating. So that took me 1 year to complete this teachings of Lord Kapil to translate into Odia. But that time I had also some skin problem. Maharaj also had some problem, skin problem. And I had also some skin problem. And one time Maharaj also took me in his car to Cuttack to show one homeopathic doctor also. So anyway, when Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj left Bhubaneswar, then that time also I was there, I was translating, and I was sick. Then Maharaj also asked me to become the temple president of Bhubaneswar. Then I refused. I said, Maharaj, I am sick and I will not be able to do that. Then Maharaj said, oh, we have no one else, so you please do this seva for me. Then I could not refuse Maharaj. Then I had to take that responsibility for some time as temple president of Bhubaneswar. But that time, when I checked the accounts, there are only 2,000 rupees in the account. So anyway, so I depended on Krishna as usual. Then after some time, when my skin problem got worse and I was doing some Ayurvedic treatment and I did not got the herbs there in Bhubaneswar, then I shifted to Calcutta again. So then I resigned from this temple presidency post and went back to Calcutta, and then I got treatment there, Ayurvedic treatment. So after that, then from Calcutta I came to Vrindavan, and then Maharaj had told me that if you stay here in Bhubaneswar, I will give you to translate Srimad Bhagavatam. So then from Vrindavan I had written a letter to Maharaj, and Maharaj asked me to come to Bhubaneswar. Then again I went to Bhubaneswar in 1990, beginning of January 1990. So that time temple construction has started, and within 1 year temple construction was over. And then when I went there, so then we started this different program in Bhubaneswar. I started this youth preaching program, first time in Bhubaneswar. And I asked Maharaj for youth preaching. Maharaj said, okay, you can do that. So then many youths were coming, and they were hearing Maharaj's class. Then we have youth class also separately. And one time I had organized a 3 days seminar for the youths, and every day Maharaj was also giving class for the youths. So in that way, Maharaj was very happy with that. And then this Rath Yatra program, there was no Rath Yatra at that time, and because there was a small Jagannath deity in the bus, Sankirtan bus, so the devotees there, they were actually pulling the bus on Rath Yatra day, thinking it as a chariot. Yes, Jagannath was in the backside of the bus. So when I heard this, that they are pulling the bus as a chariot on Rath Yatra day, I went to Maharaj. And I gave a proposal to Maharaj that Maharaj, this time Rath Yatra will make a chariot and put Jagannath in the chariot and pull the chariot on Rath Yatra day. Then Maharaj told me that we have no money for making the chariot. Then I told Maharaj that, okay Maharaj, I will go myself and collect funds for the chariot. Because that time temple construction was going on, so Maharaj did not want to spend money on the chariot. So I told Maharaj that I will myself will go and collect funds to build a chariot. And I was new in Bhubaneswar, but still I took help of one devotee who was going with me, and we visited different life members, and we collected some funds, and then one chariot was built, small chariot. So then I also organized this 7 days festival. After this Rath Yatra, then Jagannath will go stay in Gundicha Mandir. There will be 7 days festival. So I organized that, and Maharaj, he inaugurated Rath Yatra, gave his speech from the chariot, and when the chariot was pulled, Maharaj himself was following the chariot in his car all the way to the Gundicha temple. All those 7 days, Maharaj every day was going and giving lecture there. Whoever the devotees and the public were there in the pandal. So in that way, Maharaj was very happy for that Rath Yatra. And then next year, in 91, temple was inaugurated. And before inauguration, there was a meeting, and because there was proposal to call the GBC members for the inauguration, so there was a big arrangement, and we had booked in the hotels, and then there was a division of services among devotees. So in that meeting, then the proposal came who will be in charge of deity installation, because no one had any experience of deity installation. So when that proposal came, then I was not expecting that, but Maharaj himself told that Gaur Narayana will take charge of deity installation. And I was shocked to hear that, because I had also no experience of deity installation. But anyway, when Maharaj ordered me, then I accepted that challenge. That was a big challenge for me. But anyway, so I consulted Maharaj all the time about this deity installation, and I had some experience in Vrindavan, because I was doing pujari work here in Vrindavan temple. So some experience was there, but some or other it was done nicely, and Maharaj was very happy. And in Mayapur, that year in Mayapur festival, Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was actually congratulated by the GBC members in front of all the devotees from all over the world. So Maharaj was very happy with that, and everyone was very happy that Bhubaneswar temple was inaugurated in 91. So anyway, Maharaj also was giving so much association to all the devotees there in Bhubaneswar, and many devotees from foreign countries, they were coming there, and they were getting inspired by Maharaj's getting inspired by Maharaj's lecture and Maharaj's simplicity. And Maharaj used to say always that a Vaishnava must be very simple in heart. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. And Maharaj himself was very, very simple at heart and fully dependent on Guru and Krishna. And in that way, he was actually setting the example for all of us that how to become simple and follow the devotional principles and make our life success. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj ki. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj ki. Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Nitai Gaur Premanand.